Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad to hear this morning. We got all kind of cool things going on and trying to get set up. We got to go make a phone call and check with old Billy Grantham, and got some good pictures and some good information for you today. But first, let's get our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center right there at the corner of Baldwin and 77. We're looking at a little bit warmer today. It's going to get up to about mid-60s and low tonight about 57 or 54 maybe. The water temperature back where it's supposed to be is 63.1. Our river readings. We're looking at Apalachicola, Bluntstown, 18.3. It's still way high. And at Chartedge, Caryville, although dropping out, is at a 9.5. It's still, both rivers are still high, and what we call that winter high. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, looking at a low tide this morning at 6:17, and a high tide at 7:57. Now keep this in mind. Today we're going to get a wind out of south-southeast, and I get to see the wind every day in the water. Living on the water, that tidal flow. I've studied it for many years, and this is what happens in wintertime. Like when it was really cold yesterday, or day before yesterday, we had that north wind coming in. It was low tide. It stayed out most of the day. But when you have a south wind coming in, this is the same tidal system in Apalachicola and Choctawhatchee Bay, then you got that south wind that sort of keep pushing it up. So it's an interesting situation. So today wouldn't be a bad day to go try to catch a few trout now, if you don't have anything else to do. Let's take a break, and we're going to be right back. Welcome back, folks, and guess who I have on the phone from way up there in Jackson County? Our buddy Billy Grantham. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning to you.
All right, listen, I know it's early up there and all, but you already getting ready to get the dogs out, so tell us what's going on up there.
I got to turn these labs of mine out, put them in the yard a few minutes, and let them go to potty break. But everything's doing wonderful. We're just tickled to death to have this cold weather.
Well, no, yes. You know, I was just telling you a while ago as I checking with you, we last couple of nights we had a fireplace, just logs all over the place. We had the best fire last couple of nights. That felt good.
Yeah, man, that's what it's supposed to be. Y'all remember that? Y'all be all that belly aching up in August and July about this heat. Maybe you'll be wanting this cold weather.
I agree with that now. So we're toward the end of January, and what's going on up there in the outdoors?
Boy, it's better than snuff, not half as dusty.
Okay.
The deer season has been phenomenal. Great for everybody, almost easy as eating lettuce.
Listen, you sent me a couple of pictures. I got a picture of Big Old Buck on the ground. This first picture you sent, that was up there at the management area?
Yeah, that's Appalachia Zone A.
Okay.
They've done exceptionally well. The rut probably started in earnest about the middle of the month of December, and it's still running now.
Wow.
2 bucks killed Sunday even were running does, and hot and heavy.
Yeah.
So it's been red hot and still is right now. Actually, I sat in my condo yesterday evening, and the does come out and fed, and kept looking back in the woods, and I thought, what's going to happen? But when it really is going on, you won't have to see her looking back in the woods. He'll run out there in the middle of it chasing them.
That's right. That's exciting. I've seen a lot of reports of that exact incident happening just like that. It's been exciting.
Yeah.
Well, you also sent me a picture. Look here, I got one. I'm showing this one now on the tailgate of a truck. This is bringing back some memories. You got some birds on the tailgate. Tell us about what's going on with the birds up there.
That's some dove. That's my son-in-law, and this black lab Pearl right here. I'm sorry, that was Coot. Alex is my son's male dog, retrieving for us. You ain't got to get and walk out in the field and pick them up. But anyhow, that Appalachia is, I don't remember how many fields there are. There's probably 30 of them.
No
of course,
kidding.
some of them have got a wide range of crops in them that set up on them and put your mojo out there. And
well, listen, Are these dove, are they resident or are they migratory coming in late like this?
There are some resident birds, but I think the predomination of these are migratory.
Okay.
Because at times you can watch a field and see very few. And within a few days, boy, they'll be in there coming and going heavy, and then you can set up on them and get you a mess up.
We always talk about this late season dove shoots, and you know everybody gets excited early in the season, but people forget about late season. We tell about how that is such a good time. That's living proof right there, buddy.
Yeah, I got a question. I don't understand why they have the early season party because it's so hot at that time. And people get excited to do it, but to me, I'd rather see it pushed back. Of course, it goes out at the end of the month.
Yeah.
I'd rather see it pushed back over like regular gun season when it goes out and give you time.
Yeah.
Because here we got this cold air that I'm confident will push more birds down. And
exactly.
Then get a chance to shut hunt.
Well, I'm going to go and put it on my calendar for one of my weekends next year, one of my January weekends in 2021. I'm going to come up there and shoot some dove with you.
Yeah, we'll keep our eyes peeled on them and tell you a good time that we think, because what they'll do from time to time, they'll mow a field or cut it in. And of course, the birds are moving there on it. We'll get us some mess of them. And we had some. About 2 weeks ago, fried. My son-in-law fried them up. And,
yes, sir.
My grandbaby, he had a belly full of them.
Look, I'm writing it down right now. Billy, January 2021. I'm writing down right here.
There you go, man. You'll enjoy yourself.
Okay.
Even get old Coot out there. And half the fun is watching him retrieve.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Boys.
Man, I miss my dog. We got one more quick picture. A big old buck on the tailgate of a truck. Tell us about that one.
I don't remember which one that is. Just a sample of what this year did like. We'll talk about it on TV there pretty soon, but they've killed more in here this year than they ever have killed before.
Wow.
In the history of it. And all over the place.
All right, we'll get together. I want you to, we'll come down and when you get a chance and get out of those dove fields, come on down and get back on the show and we'll talk all about that.
Yeah, when I come, I'll have you some pictures and make your eyes bug out.
That sounds good, Billy. You go enjoy those dogs today.
Yeah, all right, man.
Thank you. Enjoy talking to you.
All right.
All right, buddy. Hey, I want you to take something from this conversation now. And I love to talk outdoors. I've talked outdoors my whole life. You know, really outdoorsmen who are out there. And like he said, now just take those doves for instance. If you're a dove hunter, you know exactly what I was talking about. When you cut those fields out there, those seeds and everything get all over the ground. Those doves know that. Okay, they're gonna come in. They're gonna swarm in until that seed is gone. It might be 1 or 2 days. It might be a week. And then what they're gonna do? Somebody's gonna cut a field over here. They're gonna fly over here. So the point being, you know, he's right there on top of it. And that's, you know, being in outdoors, you got to be out there. You just can't, you know, work 5 days and run out there to the field and where the dove. You got to sort of scout them out. And that's the beauty of being outdoors with nature and all. And I love talking to Billy. I'm glad he's part of the Panhandle Outdoors team. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's get caught up on our pictures. I want to tell you how much I enjoy that, getting a report from anyone in outdoors, fishing or hunting, who's out there and all. But I want to say a special good morning to Rodney Gilmore. Rodney watches the show every morning, and he gets up early, and he's been a loyal viewer for a long time. So good morning, Rodney. I know you're a big outdoorsman, too. All right, let's take a look at some of these pictures. Talking about outdoorsmen, Harris Scruggs is Captain Harris Scruggs, a big fisherman. But like so many fishermen, he likes to hunt. But look at what he's saying. First hunt since my beautiful baby girl was born. She's my new good luck charm. So Harris taking little baby girl out. Well, I don't think she hunted with him. I think she's posing in the pictures. But good picture, Harris, and congratulations on a nice buck. This is interesting now. There was nothing. I just want to take a look at it. I want you to be careful. This person was not hurt. So let's go ahead and clear that out, get that out of the air right now. But so many of us have these little tractors now, and you want to be careful about getting your load away. Fortunately, this guy took home some scrapes and bruises. Okay, so what happened? You can see him right there. The tree fell on him, and see what happened. He lifted it up too high, and here it is from the other side. But fortunately, I mean, he was very lucky that nothing happened. So, a lot of us are still clearing debris, and will be for the next couple of years, it looks like. So we just got to, one little slip up will mess you up. My buddy Joe Ivey, head coach, put us in a pickle jar. But I want you to read this now. Joe and Anita, we'll put you in there, but we'll read down at the bottom. Caught 2 nice resident pompano, 14 inches and 16 inches last week off County Pier, thanks to info gleaned from Panhandle Outdoors, including pre-front timing, fish bites, peel shrimp, bright colored tiny floats on drop rig, okay? And then caught on a lip lasso barbless hooks. Thanks for keeping us informed, Joe Ivey. Joe, thank you for that. And listen, that's a good compliment there. And those resident pompano, we'll talk about those resident pompano, they are here. There's not a whole huge schools of them that'll be coming through, but they are here, and caught them right off the county pier, exactly like we talked about. So good job, Joe. I got a couple more pictures here. Let's see. Andrea Wright, cold front, got her moving. She got this last week. I'm gonna get her on the show. If you remember her, she had a four-wheeler accident. Came on the show. Remember, she lost her leg in the four-wheeler accident, but man, she's just thriving now. Got kids and everything, and she's just encouraging and testimony to a lot of folks. Okay, Randy Beavis. Okay, Lord bless me. On last week, got a nice one. Randy had JR Barbecue over there in the east side of town. And here's a picture from the stand, and this is what you see, and you can see the deer up the top of the screen. Can you see them coming in up there? And that's just relaxing and sit in the stand in the afternoon and just relax and do that. I ran across this. Every time an old person dies, it's like a library burning down. Let me talk about that a second. So many times we plan to go talk to so-and-so, go talk to this person, and just tell us about the old times. And I'm good about. I was going to say I'm bad about recording, but I'm good about recording. And so many of them haven't made it to. I've got some, but I want to encourage you, especially with your family members, to get some of their stories. And we've talked about it before. I know it has not a lot to do with outdoors, but I'm just telling you, it's part of our heritage, especially any kind of. Find your oldest family member. And we've got some in our 90s, and I've got a little list of them. I've talked to a good many of them, but I want to encourage you to get the stories and pass it down. Your kids won't be that interested right now, but later on they say, Dad, tell me about Uncle Joe. What did you say he did? Oh, he had that moonshine still, or whatever, just whatever. But anyway, just do that if you can. Eric Orme and his family, this is... They grunted this one up. This is Tristan and all them. Good. That whole family does a lot of outdoor stuff, and that's a great picture there. They grunted that one up. All right. And now we got to talk about Wilbur Miller, retired state trooper, and he's been when he retired from being a state trooper, he became had a fence company. Still runs a fence company, and we're going to add these names to the jar. But this is his second buck on the little 40 acres up there in Calhoun County. Now he's got 2 nice bucks on 40 acres, so he just manages it real well. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at the fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. 10:57 to 12:57, and tonight, I doubt many of y'all will be up at 11:23 to 1:23, but you can check your game camera. Let's add some names. How about Joe Ivey and his wife Nita from Callaway? All right, just read that nice email from them. All the way from Lynn Haven, Chris Miller and Wilbur Miller. And also up in Youngstown, Ralph Vi had a nice conversation with Ralph. We were talking about bees the other day, Ralph and Pearl. And he gave me a lot of information. Ralph knows a lot about outdoors, and he lives up there in Youngstown. And it's always good talking to him, and it's fascinating. We talked about bees a lot, and we'll talk more about that later, but he's well aware of what's going on with them, and it's a big business. So anyway, let's look at, we've added names. Let's look at some more. We're going, I'm not going to be able to show all the pictures. Let's look at a couple of others. Let's talk with Joy. We're talking about family doing things together. Knocked down another Apalachicola Forest monster buck. had some fun. And Joy is really good about taking his kids, and here's the other picture. He just takes them hunting with him, and Joy is a good fellow there. Good job there. Now, Fred Myers, y'all know our Fred. All right, Fred, guess who got a deer? It wasn't Fred. Check it out. All right, well, basically what happened, Carter, I want a long story, but Carter ended up shooting a buck with his granddad. So anyway, I think that's his number 4th one. But good job, Carter. I also want to mention, here's another picture of him too. Carter's a good outdoorsman. We're gonna let's let Fred in the picture. Fred's the guide. But Fred was red fishing the weekend before last, and deer hunting last weekend. Okay, good job. So get back to fishing, Jeremy Brooks. It wasn't never too cold. Folks, I'm gonna tell you something. Catfishing in cold weather is always productive, and it's one of those situations where if you can brave it and all, and get out there with the water sort of falling out, you want the water falling if you can, and that was what happened. Okay. Oh, speaking of bees. I found this now. The University of Florida has opened up an online version of the Master Beekeeper. Now check that out. They're going to, you can take it online, or they're going to open up the course and all kinds of good information going on that. Also, you see where Los Angeles is now advertising with us, and I want to talk a little bit about that. We always love to have new advertisers come on. We appreciate them coming on supporting us, and we appreciate you as a viewer, supporting them. It's sort of, we all help each other out. Los Angeles is really good. I mentioned Brad Harbison. Minta, if you remember, I've known Minta since she was a young girl, and she was a cheerleader there and all, and back when my son, they were all went to school together. Good girl, but she did something, 2 weeks ago I showed a picture of her shooting this nice big old doe. I said, I didn't know she was an outdoor girl that much, but I was glad to see it. But she did something a couple of years ago, and just shared a story. So when you go to that restaurant, you'll have an appreciation. It's local people that started Los Angeles. She and her husband started it, and her mom was a really good cook, and she always loved cooking, and she's the sort of driving force. Of course, Brad he does a lot of work. I don't want to take one thing away from him or Matt. And so what happened, she went ahead, and the original store was located where on 98, close to where the new bridge, the new cross exchange and everything was on 98, where the DOT was doing it, and then they took their property for the right-of-way, well, all legal and all. They paid them for it, and Minta realized she had about a year off, and what she wanted to do before they could build something else, they just had to take the year off because they couldn't find a location before they went to St. Andrew. But the story being, what they did, and it was a once-in-a-lifetime thing, they bought them a motor home, and they drove across America and spent like months and months. Because I followed her on Facebook, and they were at the Grand Canyon one time, and all the places you ever want to go. Her little boys were about maybe 10 or 11 at that time. Now one of them is senior in high school. But she talked about that, and I talked to her about it when she got back home. That was once in a lifetime thing. So that little window of opportunity to do something like that. I was so proud of her for doing it. And she said it's just memories of a lifetime. So, sometimes when you have to take advantage of the situation when it's thrown out at you, okay? And that was the situation there. I want to talk about fire. Okay, we've had some really nice fires up there. Is it on there? Okay, listen, this is my first fire of the night. I wanted to pose. The reason I want to talk about it, the firewood, I don't know how you feel about fires. I've always loved fires. It brings back so many memories of old timers, all they had to heat with. And now there's not many people doing fires. And in fact, I don't think many of the new houses are built with fires because there's not really that many times you can have a fire in Florida. But in North Florida, you can have more. But one of the things I was so proud of was, being able to get a fireplace. But anyway, I just want to tell you, if you get a chance, especially in cold weather, we're not going to have cold weather much longer. We're about to hit February, so a couple more times. So be aware of a good time to build a fire. I'm going to talk more about it later. I'm going to give you the list of what's really good to what kind of firewood. I wanted to talk about, I don't think I have them on here. Also, the speckled trout rule is changing next week. Okay, here it is right here. Spotted sea trout, new zones, regulations, and all that, those closures and everything. So what's coming on right here in the middle. The Western Panhandle limit is changed to 3 fish, okay? The Big Bend now is 5 fish, so be aware of that. Okay, right there's a better chance. Okay, now what I want to show you, now we're the yellow, but we're divided right there where the viewing area is. So we showed this before. I want to show it one more time so you'll be aware of the Big Bend. Obviously, there's a lot more speckled trout in that area than where we have now in our Panhandle area. There's more fishermen, I know, just in our yellow area. So be aware of the speckled trout change and everything. Also, we were talking about quail, and I got a call from Chris Carroll. I got a text or email or call. I can't remember. I get so many messages and all. But he brought up, remember I was talking about New Jersey. Well, what's going on in New Jersey when we have this quail symposium? And he said, he looked it up. He said there's over 2 million acres of land up there. And it got me interested. And I said, well, wait a minute. If that much land, and I found some information, I started looking it up. Wild quail nearly vanished in New Jersey. They're making a comeback. And then the whole list, baa quail. So they are trying to put quail in New Jersey. You ask what importance is that to Panhandle Outdoors? Well, if you go up there and go visiting, you can talk about the quail. But anyway, this is the quail they're trying to put up there. But and Audubon Society is doing this with that group. But again, it's the same thing. We're talking about same groups of people trying to save our habitat, save our wildlife, save our birds, and everybody's on the same. We're all in the same boat on that. So I'm just tickled. I'd love to get a huge population coming back, and we're going to find out about that. But this is the time of year. February, March is an excellent time to quail hunt, and that's what but we can't really do it because there's not any wild birds out there. So anyway, we're going to talk more about quail. I've got some information tomorrow. I got one of my good buddies is a duck hunter up there in Atlantic Flyway. He sent me some information. They've changed the limit up in Atlantic Flyway from the mallards. They've changed it. They've gone from like 3 to 2 and all because of the, I don't know if it's overhunting or not enough birds to watch, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. So all kinds of things going on: duck hunting, dove hunting, quail hunting, deer hunting, and some speckled trout fishing and cat fishing. So we'll have all that on tomorrow. Also, we'll be drawing for our seafood giveaway. And if anybody interested in sponsoring, get in touch with me and we'll get you a video or a commercial and get it going here on Panhandle Outdoors. Thank you all for watching the show. Do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.